Hi everybody, my name is Bárbara Marrero and welcome to Unmasked with Barbara. This is a show where I interview strong women from all walks of life in hopes to bring light in the midst of chaos. We're unmasking and talking all things beauty, body positivity, entrepreneurship, and so much more.
Like no other option, so we don't want to think about the other option.
Yes.
It's kind of like that meme of Cardi B where it's like,
What was the reason?
I was like so pissed.
You did not fight through all that you fought through to stop here.
Subscribe to my channel and stay tuned for an incredible journey. Are you ready? Let's go. Thank you so much for tuning into another episode of Unmasked. Today I have an incredible human that I am going to be interviewing, but not just interviewing, we're going to have a conversation where I feel you will be so inspired and will have so much to take home with you today. And she is one of my best friends, an amazing woman of God, a worship leader, and she's here today. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for asking me. I'm like so excited to be here.
I'm so honored that I can, out of all the people that I've had on the show, I've had friends and I've had people that are colleagues and people that I've worked with in the past, but you're literally the only person that knows me for me and knows my story and knows everything that it's taken for me to get here. So it's like, it's a bit much, guys. It's a bit much.
It's a good bit much.
I want the audience to know your story, and it's a hard one, but
oh my gosh.
You've worn your testimony in such a beautiful way, and you've been able to be an inspiration to so many people, including me and my mom. So tell us about she loves you.
Like, we need to call her
My
after.
mom loves her more than me, but it's okay.
Hi, Mom.
So tell us a little bit about your story.
My story. I love this story. This topic is always just like,
It's a lot.
It is a lot. And I know like it helps people connect, but it's just always like, oh man, okay, let's travel back there. So as you know, because you knew my mom, and she was just a big part of my life because she was a single mom. So she was really all that me and my brother had. And one thing that I know now in my age now, which, how old am I? I turned 29 this year.
Woo!
I know, girl, getting old. Woo! What I know now of being a woman and having like insecurities, I didn't understand then when I was like 15 and 16, which is when I met you and like around that age. And when you saw me and my mom's like dynamic, and we used to fight all the time and things like that, but she had a lot of insecurities, and it exposed itself like through the men that she would bring around the house, and how she would treat me, because I was the only girl and nothing positive really came from it. And I think it was because nothing really positive could come from her in that sense. So I never grew up in a home where where she told me you're beautiful, you're worthy, I didn't grow up with that. And I think it was because she didn't think that of herself, and she didn't know how to instill that in me.
You.
Right. And so I grew up in a household that was just emotionally pretty abusive, just because it travels down, hurt travels down. And I had some of her boyfriends who did things that weren't so good to me. And we fought, and at a young age, because I didn't feel loved or worth anything, what do? You go out and you rebel, and you do things you're not supposed to do. And that's what I did. So we did a lot of partying, a lot of drinking, a lot of boys. And fast forward, my mom meets a guy, and I think this is like the worst out of the worst. And meanwhile, even though I was like a bad kid, like doing bad things, I wasn't stupid. So I was always like a straight A student. I was always really good at school, and I was smart, and my mom was smart. So, and she meets a guy. He had a rap sheet like no other. Like,
And she was his psychologist, or
yeah. So my mom got her master's in mental health, psychology and mental health, and she did counseling at a halfway house. And for those people who don't know what a halfway house is, it's just like when you get out of jail, you go and live in this
recovery.
Yeah. So she was there, and she would like help, you know, different men and women who were in the halfway house. And at that time, you know, everything was good. I felt like we were good. Like as a family, it was like the best that I had remembered. Like when I remember that time.
Yeah.
But wow, when things haunt you, they just, you know what I'm saying? They linger when it's not, I don't know. So she meets him, rap sheet like no other. I mean, like Grand Theft Auto, like domestic abuse, possession of like cocaine and
Wow.
I mean distribution.
Yeah.
I mean, the man has done every crime under the
yeah.
earth. And
She falls for him.
she falls for him, and he destroys her. And
Yeah.
she literally, so I'm off in college at this time, and my sister-in-law, who was living with like the family at the time, calls me and she's like, hey, mom is like gone. And I'm like, what are you talking about? What do you mean she's gone? She's like, yeah, like she took her clothes out of the closet. We haven't seen her in a few days. So I come back from college, and at the time I was in Tampa, going to school at USF, and I come back for a weekend, and I'm calling my mom, and I'm trying to figure out, and she's like, yeah, you know, we're gonna move in together. This is my shot. And I'm like, no.
Not your
not
shot.
your shot. Like, this
Ain't it?
what you thought is a shot, not a shot. Don't take it. Don't shoot your shot, mom. And I mean, after that, I had to drop out, because after that, she just really like left.
Yeah.
And oh my God, what brokenness will do to you. And I don't want to like describe my mom as, because she was.
She was an amazing woman.
She was
incredible.
She was
and
beautiful.
So smart.
She was so smart. She was so beautiful.
Which is why this story is so important, because there's so many women that are so intelligent and have so many things going for them, but it takes one man and one insecurity from within to just let it all tumble over.
Right. And I think that's why I think it's so important to like truly heal, like from the inside out. So, and I knew that was something that my mom hadn't
done yet.
Right. So she goes, whatever, leaves us high and dry. I mean, we had nothing. I was a college student.
Yeah.
We had nothing. And my brother and my sister-in-law, she had just told me that she was like, I'm pregnant. And I'm like, we have nothing. And the house that I grew up in, the house that my mom stripped when she left, there was like bills up the wazoo. I was like, did this woman ever pay a bill? I'm like confused. I'm like, what? We would get like things in the mail. I'm like, I have no money to pay this. So we literally were like squatters. And we lived in a house for months with no running water, with, you're not gonna let me cry right now because the glam is.
Don't do it. The lashes.
I was like, this lash glue better like hold up, because we might cry. Oh my goodness. So like no running water, no electricity. We lived by charging our phone in the car, and like we would sit in the car with the air on. And then at nighttime, when it would be cooler, we would light candles all around the house and like play Uno to like entertain ourselves. Looking like this, and like no one would know.
No one would know.
And I would like get the money that I got paid, and I would do stuff until I was like we can't do this anymore. And I was like, we're looking for an apartment. And I got all our stuff together. I was like, we're moving, and we're moving into an apartment. And in that apartment is when I found Jesus.
Wow.
And everything changed after that. I started going to church, and I would go all by myself. And I remember, like, one day I was there, I was listening, and he was preaching, and it was practical, and it was helping me understand, like, you know, I'm not the only one suffering in this life. And
you're not alone.
Right. And next thing you know, I was like at the altar, like, okay, God, like, I'm giving you my life. And a few months after that, I remember I was at work, and I got a call that my mom was in the hospital, that she had had a stroke, and it caused bleeding on the brain. But the craziest part about that, and I know this may seem weird, but I had had a dream like a week before of my mom being in the hospital, and I woke up terrified. Like, it was such a nightmare. But because she had left the way that she did, I was so angry. And like, I would text her like here and there, like for her birthday, and just be like, Mom, you know, I love you, I miss you. Like, you know, you don't have to live like this. And in that time of us not talking, that guy had drained her of all her money. That guy had her living in, and you know my mom, bougie, right? We lived in a house, and we didn't live with like much, but she was like, whatever we have, like, you know, is gonna be the best, because we worked hard for this. Yeah. So that's how we were raised. And my mom was living in extended stay hotels and motels. My mom was living out of a suitcase, place to place with this guy, because she felt that that's all she had. And I knew that you had the whole world at your fingertips. You had your family. And this insecurity, it crippled her to feel like she wasn't worth anything but the attention of a man. Yeah. And so when I found all of this out, you know, part of me just wanted to rescue her, and I would try. And I'd be like, okay, my brother didn't want her staying with us because he was like, if I was mad, he was furious, right? Yeah. He just didn't want anything to do with it. He didn't want to deal with it, yeah. I'm upset. And I'm crying. But
girl, we're right there.
Right. So I would try and get my cousins, and I'd be like, listen, I'm gonna get her, I'm gonna drop her off, just keep her there. Just keep her there for me. And a week later, I'd like go to visit my mom, and they'd be like, yeah, he picked her up. And I'm like, what in the world is going on? Like, every time. Or I remember being like late at night, it'd be like 3 a.m, I would get a random phone call from my mom after not speaking to her for like a month. And she'd be like, can you pick me up? And I'd be like, where? What's wrong? Are you okay? And it'd be like some random bus station in like some, you know, not so great part of town. And all of this while I was in ministry, and I would be worshiping and singing, and like nobody knew. Like, I was just falling apart on the inside. I was like, this is crazy. And I felt like, because I didn't really have my dad, and you know, she was all I had, I just felt like I had to grow up so quickly, and I saw real life so quickly, and I just felt robbed. Yeah. Like, other people can be like, oh, I'm in a bind, let me go call my mom. Like, my mom was calling me, and I felt I was being robbed. Yeah. I was angry. And so at a certain point, I was like, I'm done. If you won't leave him, I'm done. And I feel like that bit me in the butt later on, because when she was in the hospital, she was already in a coma, so she couldn't speak back to me. And I knew. I don't know, that dream, I don't know if it was like to prepare me or if it was just like I felt like it was coming. I don't know. But I knew in that moment that that was probably going to be the toughest thing I'd ever had to have gone through. And I had so much guilt. I had so much pain because I felt like, oh my God, I couldn't save you. I couldn't help you. Like, you worked so hard your whole life to make sure that me and my brother were okay. And like at the end of your life, like you were living like a homeless person, like a person, like a nomad, like, and she had a family, and I just felt like I didn't do enough for her. And so I just, and the doctors would come in and say, you know, her quality of life, even if she wakes up, it's not going to be the same. And they were literally telling me, like, I had to choose, like, to pull the plug on my mom.
That's so crazy.
Yeah, I just couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it. And I'm the baby, so I was like, Nayan, it's your call because I can't. Like, that's her mom. And then 5 days before, is it 6 days before my 25th birthday, they pulled the plug, and you were there. And I remember, you held my hand, and we had to say goodbye. So,
how did you feel after that happened?
I felt broken. I felt broken because for so long I spent my life in disagreement with my mom because of all of the choices that she had made. But I was turning 25 and I was realizing, like, as me becoming this woman of exactly what she was dealing with. And I always say this to my sister-in-law because, you know, we're really close. And I'm always like, had my mom been here today, we would be the best of friends.
Yeah.
Because I'm mature now and I understand. I understand as a woman what we go through.
Right.
And now all of us can wake up and feel confident. And even those who are confident still have insecurities.
1000%.
Right? And everyone has like that kryptonite for them. And for my mom, for her, it was being loved. I mean, she was in a loveless marriage with my father. And
do you think she was seeking what she didn't have in herself in a man?
I don't know. Because she was so smart. I mean, she accomplished so much.
Yeah.
She was the first in our family to go to college and like go all the way and get her master's. And in something like mental health, like she was always in the books. Like, she was so smart. People loved her. She was caring. She was loving. She was beautiful. I don't think she was, I think that the part of her that didn't feel, I don't think she felt loved. I think she just wanted
to be loved, to feel security,
in that way, right? Like,
to feel some sort of like protection over somebody, or
and I get that. How many? Okay, you know, girls our age, everyone's like, I want to be married, I want a man, like da da da. Everyone's like, I know 6 people right now who are getting married this year. Like, I have like 6 weddings. My fridge is filled with save the dates. Like, everyone just wants to be married. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I feel like my mom just wanted like that picture perfect,
that white picket fence.
Right.
Yeah.
And
I think, and the reason why I asked is because your mom is the type of woman that she was like a lot of us. And I see a lot of myself in her, because she's the type of woman that had everything so put together that she felt not only the need to feel loved and feel protected by another male figure and like to have a strong man, and but maybe because of all that she had together, she wanted to give some of it back. And in that, she went on looking not looking, she just found someone that needed to be fixed. And she thought with her power and how good she had it together, she was enough for both. And she could give some of herself to another man, and it could be enough.
Yeah.
And what she didn't realize is that in doing that, and what a lot of women don't realize in doing that, is that you end up giving yourself away.
Yeah.
And you don't know how to find yourself again.
Yeah.
And you know that happened to me in one of my last relationships. Like, that's what I wanted. I wanted marriage. I wanted the white picket fence. Like, that's what I wanted. And I ended up falling for somebody that wasn't all that put together like I thought they were. And in return, I actually had to give of myself to help that person become a better person. And what ended up happening is it ended up destroying me.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's something that a lot of women do today. It's like, you know, a lot of strong women do that. They fall for these men that want to suck their power and want to suck that strength because they can't carry themselves. And we're so caring and we're so loving and we're so willing that we just give it, and we don't see until it's too late.
Yeah, I think it all comes down to worth.
Mm-hmm. Knowing your worth, knowing your value.
And I mean, this is like terrible, but we're gonna talk like designer, right?
Say it.
Yes, holy grail. I love design. You love designer.
We all love designer.
And like, you know, every year, like Louis and Gucci, they'll all like raise their prices, Chanel, like increments. So like a bag that was like $1,500 like 2-3 years ago, now it's like higher. And I like look into this stuff and I'm like, yo, why is, come on now. I'm like I'm trying to secure the bag, okay? Can we just like keep this at like 1,500? Oh my God, such a good sermon. Not a plug, right? Shameless plug.
Side note.
Right. And the reason why they do it is because they want to keep a certain type of clientele buying it. They don't want like, you know, like an ordinary person just like buying the bag. They want someone of like stature to buy the bag. And to me, I'm like, okay, I get it. And that's pretty cool because they have a standard for themselves. Yeah. And they don't want just anybody to just hold and appreciate what they have.
Right.
And I think it's the same with us.
Yeah.
Like, you know that you're worthy of something, and you don't want just anybody to be able to have access to all of the goodness that is in you and in me and in all of us.
Right.
And so I just think that it comes down to, I don't think that she truly understood what she was worth. Mm-hmm. And so she let just anybody come and deplete her of her power.
Right.
And sad enough to say that a lot of young girls do that.
A lot of young girls do that. Go through the same thing.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it's gonna take, and I think this is part of the reason why I even wanted to start the show.
Yeah.
I launched the show because I saw myself and I went through that.
Yeah.
Maybe not to that extent. Thank God that I came out on the other side.
Yes.
But a lot of women are in relationships or are seeking things because they don't feel complete. They don't feel fulfilled enough. They don't love themselves enough. They don't know their worth, their value.
Yeah.
And I feel like as a woman, once you realize the worth and the value that you have, ain't nobody getting close to me. You better come correct or don't come at all. Excuse me.
I think that as sad as, you know, that story is, of my mom, she, even with her gone, taught me so much. Because after that, I realized, okay, Lay, if you don't take inventory of yourself, it's just going to be a cycle. And everything after you is going to be just as damaged as everything before you. Yeah. And so I had to take a hard look at myself and say, you know what, like, I'm not going to do what she did. I have to learn to love myself for who I am. I have to learn to live my life at its fullest. I have to learn that if this man doesn't see who I am, that's okay, because he didn't define me. He didn't make me. He won't break me. And that strength, I think, you know, of course, in being saved, like having Jesus the whole way, he's just been so good. And I can say now that I'm almost 29 years old. I'm like looking back, I'm like, wow, almost 4 years now since she's been gone. And it feels like a lifetime because I felt like
gained so much.
Right, like I'm not that person anymore. I'm not a broken person. I'm Lay, you know, and it's okay to say I've come from like an ugly situation. It's okay if you've come from that. That doesn't make you who you are. Like, you're not that ugly situation.
You're not defined by what you've been through.
Right. It added to your worth.
Right.
And it took an ugly situation to show me I was worth something. And that's okay.
And it's so beautiful because I feel like a lot of people get so stuck in their situations. And a lot of people are past their situations and they're past that situation, but they're so stuck in the hurt,
emotionally,
and the emotion, and why did that happen to me, and why did I go through that, and why did I lose my mom that way? And they're just in this constant cycle in their mind, and don't realize that what you're holding on to is so powerful. And there's so many people that can gain something from that, and not only people but you. If you gain what you can learn from your family or what happened to you, you can literally change the course of your life.
It literally.
There's a quote that I love, and I can't remember who it is, but this guy says, I can't go back and make a brand new beginning, but I can start from now and make a brand new ending.
Amen.
And I feel like that's our lives right now. You know, we're not defined by what we've been through. We're not defined by what's happened to us or the relationships that we've been in, but I will take the lessons that I learned, and I will raise up my value price, and I will take into consideration that what I'm worth is not going to be for anybody. It's not for anybody to just have. It's expensive. Can I say that again?
Right. The boss lady has spoken. I don't know if anybody else. Hello.
So, and I feel like so many women just need to know that. And I feel like women have such power within them, and they don't see it. And I think it's because society has put this negative light on women and have put us down in so many ways. We're the only gender that, you know, has responsibilities, and we're expected to be doing certain things, and you know, we're the ones that have to bring life, and we're the ones that have to cook, and we're the ones that have to do all these things. I don't cook, aka, because I don't have to. I can cook. I just don't want to because it's not I don't have to. It's not my duty because I'm a woman.
In this life. And
I feel like we've been put under this box, and because of this box, women don't explore the potential that they have. They don't explore that there is more to them than just a woman. That you can create life, but not only do you create life, you can literally change life to the life that's already created, and we can do that so gracefully and so creatively, and
we are spectacular.
We are.
Like, okay, I was listening to a sermon the other day, and the pastor was saying how he was like, we are the only other time that God references a helper, because we know like the Holy Spirit is like our helper. But the only other time that he references it is when he's talking about Eve being the helper of Adam. So he compares us to the comfort and the helper of the Holy Spirit. Like, we're just that magnificent.
Yeah.
Like, he holds us to such like a standard. And I feel like we just don't get it.
Yeah.
We just don't get it. You are capable.
Yeah.
You really are capable. But not just capable of doing one thing. You're capable of doing whatever it is
that you want.
That you were designed to do.
Yeah.
So if you want to be a working mom, if you want to be an entrepreneur, a business owner, if you know, whatever it is that you want to do, you have all the power to do that.
Yeah.
And I've learned that, and I've come into myself knowing like I'm not weak, I'm not less than because I'm not married or not dating or I don't know, because I'm plus size, because I'm brown, because I have curly hair. Like,
if anything, that makes you more powerful.
That's just own who you are. Just own it. Just own it.
And I think in that is where the power really lies.
Yes.
Once you accept the beauty that lies within you, and once you accept that you are beautiful and that you don't need to be compared to the societal standard, and that you don't need to be doing X, Y, and Z at this age. Once you understand that, literally the sky is the limit. And
girl, but don't get me wrong, because I still I cringe. I'm like, oh my God, my birthday's around the corner. And I have like this little list that I keep in a little box under my bed of what I was gonna accomplish at this age. And I haven't been there yet. But, and it's not that we won't do that. I just think that I won't beat myself up about it
anymore.
I'm like, okay, this is the list. We're not quite there yet.
But we're gonna get there.
We're working. We're working towards
I'm not where I am. I'm not where I want to be, but I'm not where I used to be.
Yes. And that's my motto. I live by that.
That's progression.
Yeah, every day I have to do better. I have to do better than yesterday.
Yeah.
And the only person that I'm comparing myself to is Lay yesterday.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah, and that's all you can do.
That.
Yeah.
That's so beautiful. And so one question that I have before we wrap up is, what advice can you give to somebody, a young girl that is just stuck in their process in life, in their journey? They don't know how to progress because they've been through so much, and they've been exposed to so much at such an early age that they don't have hope because their hope was robbed from them as a little girl or as a little boy. If gentlemen are watching.
To the gentlemen too.
Yeah.
We're not anti-men, we're just pro-female.
Pro-female. What advice can you give to a young girl like that?
Oh my goodness. I think the easiest way to go about that is just speaking to a younger me. And there are a lot of things that we thought that we weren't going to get past.
Yeah.
And then you wake up one morning and you're like, oh, okay, I did get through that. Like, and I'm here and I'm alive and I'm breathing and I'm okay. And I know that whatever circumstance that you may be dealing with right now may feel like this is the one that's going to take me out.
Yeah.
And I speak over that and I say, no.
Yeah.
It's not going to take you out.
Yeah.
That you did not fight through all that you fought through to stop here.
Yeah.
That there's always more in your life. And not to give up. I know that's so cliche, but if I had given up when my mom passed, because trust me, I was like over it. I was like, this life is not worth it.
Yeah.
And now I can look back and tell that story and see how much strength it gives me. Don't give up. Yeah. Don't ever give up. No circumstance is going to get you out. Keep pushing. You never know what's on the other side.
I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being on the show. This
Barbie.
was amazing. I love you more. Thank you. I love you.